Hello, hello. We are back on a Friday, child. Where you at? Where you at? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat, please. I got one person in here. Is that you, Well Wayne? Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody. If you're here in the replay, let me know you made it by letting me know, something in the comments, child. I want to celebrate today by coming in, tapping in with everybody. Celebrating our breaths. Are you guys remembering to take your breaths? All right. Yeah. Tapping into the self. All right. Thank you, Wow Wayne. I appreciate you. Listen, y'all, we are here today live. I'm trying to keep it light, keep it fun. It's too much crazy, horrible, traumatic things going on in the world. And so no need to put focus on that today. Even though part of this is about some of that evil, because, it is in my very humble opinion that some of these things that go on in Hollywood, such as these roasts, are for other reasons other than entertainment. Okay, that's just part of it. But we'll get into some of that. And you know what we got to do in the meantime and in between time, though? We have to, go to some music so the algorithm can do something. You know what I'm saying? We got to let things play out for a few minutes before we get started. So let's do that. But in the meantime, let me know you are here. Come on in the comments, child. Come in the chat. And we're going to talk, you and me, one-on-one in just a few. So don't go nowhere. Okay. I think we're going to start. I'm still on my Michael stuff right now. Okay. So we'll get our Michael. Hey. Oh. All right, y'all. I'll be right back. Okay. Don't go nowhere. Let's do a little ring my bell, child. Yeah. She ain't lying. Okay. Life is young and full of possibilities, people. Let's talk about it. All right. We're getting into Kevin Hart's roast, child. Lots of controversy surrounding this thing. We're going to, there's some TikTokers talking about it. There's controversy as well behind the writing. I don't know if you guys saw, I had a picture of the writers. Now I don't have it, but I'm going to talk about the writers who were behind this roast. And let's not get it twisted. They do these roasts on an annual basis. And I think somebody mentioned Kevin Hart is the second Black person in so many years to get roasted. There's meaning behind these roasts. It's not just for entertainment, not for just ha funny. Netflix puts a lot of money into this stuff, right? These people, all they kept talking about was how much money they were getting paid to be up here. This is Meek Mill performing at the end. That really told me this was some industry puppetry on. Of course, The Rock had to make an appearance. And he was, of course, the last one to come on stage. And he came on like a big old WWE production, child. They spared no expense when it came to this thing. Okay, this is Jeff Rosenberg, I think his name, Jeff. I have him in my notes. Jeff Ross. Jeff Ross said he dressed like Eddie Murphy, child, because Eddie Murphy said, "Fuck you, Kevin, I'm not coming," child. We're going to get into some of these things, but first let's talk to my people. What's going on, chat? What's going on, warriors? Yeah, look yourself in the mirror and give yourself a pat on the back, a round of applause. It is an amazing day. It is an amazing time to be here. What a time to be alive, right? Celebrating life, taking deep breaths all day. I want to say shout out to everybody who are either here now or popped in, when I set the live up a little while ago. Shout out to Faye. What's going on, UK? Yes. So good to see you. Wow, Wayne, I appreciate you, of course. You know what it is. Miss Michelle, my Ohio queen. What's going on? Yeah. What's going on? Hug the babies. I want to say hi to Midson. Hey, mama. You get the bells, baby. Okay, make sure you comment in the replay. What's going on, Black Letter Law? Good to see you. Yes, bells for everybody. Appreciate the bells. What's going on, Corp Girl? My fellow Cali girl, what's going on? Yes, we are live. Ooh, Love Queen came in, child. Shout out to my sis. Yeah. Definitely like, share, subscribe. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, warriors. Peace and love back to you. Yes. Who else came in here before we get going, child? Yeah, very nice to be here, to have you here. Baby Yoda popped in. Okay, Baby Yoda, I see you. Thank you for the bells. Thank you so much. Cha-Cha, what's going on, girl? Yes. Shout out to Cha-Cha. Happy Friday. You haven't watched the roast yet? Child, I'm going to tell you, I actually laughed my ass off. Didn't expect to do it. I was actually coming in on like more of, let me see what else Hollywood got going on. You know, let me see what type of distraction we got happening to, this time around with Kevin Hart. Dang, Mitson, that was a quick training. Yes, happy weekend. Happy weekend. Why do we celebrate the weekend? Because we ain't got to work for the most part. Some people do have to work. Thank you for working over the weekend, because a lot of us need you to work, because we need to do things too outside of work, and we need y'all to go to work so we could do those things. Yeah, shout out to you. All right. In Kevin Hart fashion. Cha-Cha, I missed the Comedy Central roast. The Flavor Flav was my fave. You know what? I think I caught that back in the day. I don't remember it, but not really. You know what it is? It's like so negative and nasty. So I just typically try to just stay away from that type of energy. But honestly, I'm glad I sat, and I actually sat for the whole 2 hour, almost 3 hour production. Okay. Thought I was going to be multitasking and doing other things, but it actually had my attention. Maybe because too, I was taking notes for y'all, because some of y'all didn't watch it, don't plan on watching it. I got you. So, oh, you got to work Saturday and Sunday. Well, you know what? More power to you. And God bless you for that. And you know what? It is a blessing. So it's really gratitude. Honestly. Thank you, Wayne, for the bells. So now this roast, I was watching the clips. Honestly, I was trying to stay away from it altogether. But I was catching the clips, and they were getting my attention, especially when I saw Cat Williams. I was like, okay, we're gonna have to talk about it. And also when I heard some people talking about how ritualistic it was and how they saw the different symbolism, and this talk has gone on for years about these things, but I really wanted to kind of watch for myself. Now, as you can see, the promo for this at the top, it says "Let It Burn." I don't think it was a coincidence that when The Rock came in, that was what exactly he said he was going to do. He said he was going to burn this motherfucker down. Okay. And, I don't know if he did, but they all tried. There was some really crazy things being said during this roast. It really was. I was like, whoa, Netflix. Like, are we really just really going there? So as you can see, it was a whole semi all-star cast of folks. I say semi because some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. Same for most of you, I'm sure. I don't think anyone knew exactly everybody on here. Some people I want to look up. I hadn't had a chance, but we'll get into it. But it is definitely, a mix of people, mostly in the comedy realm. Not all. As you can see, Lizzo is up there. Athlete, NBA star Draymond Green. He got roasted a lot. You see Tiffany Haddish at the bottom, but they didn't air her. I'm pretty sure they edited her out. Now, this was almost a 3-hour production, okay? But at the very beginning, it let us know that it was an edited version of the live production. Now, what I didn't do, child, is do my formal greeting. How do I start a live without hello, peace, world peace, welcome back to Goddess Dawn Speaks, aka the $1 trillion Goddess Baby, hosted by Goddess Dawn herself. Goddess Dawn, not Dawn without the goddess. Okay, but you can say Goddess without the Dawn. Okay, you can if you want to. You can call me GD for short. GD is cool too. I just prefer not just Dawn, just because I'm trying not to, that's just not who I am on the YouTuber. Okay. Thank you for Wayne for putting up the Cash App. Appreciate all. They kind of slowed down since I stopped doing the book readings. To be honest, I'm super busy with my own book. I'm done, but I'm putting on finishing things, and I have someone helping with so much editing and proofreading to be done, and I need another beta reader. It's too much, but it's amazing. So, not complaining. What's going on, Corp Girl? Yes. All right. Yeah. Welcome everybody new, everybody who's not new. Thank you for rocking with me. I hope you guys like it. It's turned into something else, kind of, sort of. Matter of fact, the last chapter I wrote was a final chapter for one of the characters, and it actually alluded to all this industry, these industry things. Now, mind you, this was 1989, and this person fast forward to today is literally a huge mogul, industry mogul in real life, and this is based on real life. So I don't know. You guys are probably gonna know at the end of the day who these people are, but yeah. Okay, F Gloria. I'm just kidding. God bless her, child. She went through enough. I ain't trying to steal nobody's work, but we'll get into that on another live. I'm not done with her either, by the way. We still have 40 something more chapters to go through on that whack ass audio book, but I'm gonna push through it. What's going on, Junebug? Welcome. Happy Friday. Yeah, we're here live and in person and in real time, celebrating with the breaths. All right, we're talking about Kevin Hart. Now, back to this roast. Okay, like I said, the roast of Kevin Hart is what they called it. And it sounds kind of like a funeral, right? And that's the way it kind of felt as well. I just question, what is the purpose of these roasts? They go so down and dirty, they drag to hell, okay? It's like we're already in hell and we're just going to bring you down here with us. This is the final pull to get you finally and fully down here in hell with us. I don't know. I kind of feel like Kevin's already there, but for whatever reason, he did this roast. As a matter of fact, the Roots were the band. I don't know why the Roots have all of a sudden become the go-to band for television talk shows and different, productions that are one-offers, special events. It's the Roots. Questlove on the mic. Questlove was the one who was the first one on the mic to introduce Netflix is a joke fest, child. And Kevin Hart is the joke. Shane Gillis was the host. Shane Gillis, some of these people, I don't have pictures, child. I just only had enough. I feel like I'm missing some pictures. Let me double check here. Hold on. Because I feel like I'm missing some pictures. I have pictures of some of these people. Here's one. But yeah, Shane Gillis, he comes out immediately pointing out the fact that he's hosting and he's white. And, that thanks Netflix for allowing me, this white man, to host this celebration of Black excellence. And I felt like he was kind of calling out Netflix at that point. I'm still looking for different pictures that I feel like, for whatever reason, I don't have in my little gallery here. Okay, we got her. Now, like I said, Shane Gillis came out and he said, they told me to be racist. Like, that's one of the other things that he said. And a lot of people blame the writers on things they said that were really degrading. Things that are like, what did you say? Somebody call 911. This could be time. Okay. I'm multitasking. Yeah, this is one that I don't have. But but yeah, so Shane Gillis also said, we're here live in Los Angeles, here to celebrate a man we used to like in a city that's no longer important. And let me tell you, it kind of hurt. This is my city, okay? Los Angeles might not be important to y'all who used to just use and abuse us for, Hollywood's sake. Now that y'all figured out you can go other places, but now I think what they're trying to do is revamp this whole Hollywood scene out here and make things more affordable for these movie makers. I think that was one of the big complaints, was that it had become too expensive to make movies. And then, of course, we had a couple of devastating strikes to the industry during COVID. I believe it was like the writer strike, the director strike, SAG was striking, everybody was striking. But at the end of the day, the movie, or shall I say the show, must go on, or the marathon continues, however you want to say it. Okay, let me add these pictures I just found to the gallery and we can keep this moving. But yeah, that was cold, I think, what he said. Now, when he said that, they panned over to Tracy Ellis Ross, who, of course, Diana Ross's daughter, actress from Black, what was the show? Blackish. They panned to her and she was kikiing, and she was kikiing the whole time. She was having a good time. Now, Shane Gillis went on, I'm your extremely white host. Shane Gillis, he kept making a point, because I guess that's what he's known for, is being racist, apparently. But yeah, he went on to, like I said, expose Netflix. He's like, not a lot of whites in this audience, but the dressing room attendant asked if I wanted something in my drink. You know what I'm saying? He's basically saying, where's all the black people at? We celebrate black excellence, but I'm the white host. The audience is full of white people. And the only black people I've seen are black people working behind the scenes. And so, that was kind of the theme, I think, of a lot of the show. It was woven throughout the whole show. Usher comes out. He's singing, tailored lyrics for the moment. Okay, dissing Kevin the whole way down. Kevin, it's the whole production. It's a play. The Diddy Party thing came up a couple times. Usher said to Kevin, I don't know why you chose to do this. He was really being serious too. But yeah, Tom Brady comes out, brings up Kevin in that Las Vegas situation where he got caught cheating on his wife. Matter of fact, I think everybody brought it up. Everybody talked about that. But yeah, the Usher, when Usher was on stage, the camera panned to the whole crowd of white folks. Okay. But back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady came out and he, basically was getting his lick back, because you guys recall Tom Brady had his own roast. His own roast that did like 100 million views. So there's numbers in these roasts. There's a motivation for Netflix to do this, because it does drive numbers. And maybe that is why they let them go so dirty. Okay. Now, Shane Gillis, every time he would present a person, they would come up. So Tom Brady was the first, because he was in and out. Tom Brady didn't sit on the panel. A lot of these people had to sit on the panel because they needed somebody to sit on the panel. They got paid to sit on the panel, I'm pretty sure, as well. But every time the person would get introduced, Shane Gillis would come back up as the host and then rag more on the person or on somebody else. Because one thing about this roast, and probably all the roasts, is these comedians shoot at each other as well. They don't just shoot at Kevin or the main person. Everybody's getting shot. Kevin Hart was not the only target here, okay? And that's why I think some of these people were surprise guests. Kevin claims he didn't know that The Rock was coming. He claims he didn't know Cat Williams was going to be there, which he might not have known, because maybe they didn't want him to try to shut it down. I don't think he was happy about it, especially the Cat Williams. Well, only really the Cat Williams. I don't think he was happy about that. But so what else happened? Shane Gillis, when he came up after Tom Brady, he was like, We're not going to just talk about how short you are and annoying. He's like, but we are going to do that. He's like, but we're going to talk about how you're a shitty comedian, a star fucker, and an absentee father. Now, for whatever reason, he felt like he needed to bring that up quite often as well. So at this point, he's taking shots at everybody that he can. Like, he talked about Cheryl Underwood, talked about how he could, I don't know why they made this also a main topic for Cheryl Underwood, her husband unaliving himself. Apparently he jumped off of a bridge. And then he's talking about this, and then he says, I called her yesterday. Shut up. Like, it's cool. We already talked about this. He went in on Chelsea Handler. Tony Hinchcliffe, I guess he's some like extreme right-wing person, racist. Draymond Green, the athlete, I brought him up. Pete Davidson as well. So Shane, he was also talking about Kevin's ancestors. Kevin's ancestors came to America in a slave ship in a bottle. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to read my notes. He said Kevin Hart, he wasn't there for his kids because he was too busy filming Jumanji 3, child. Yeah, they also put Kevin out there as like this extreme greedy person, somebody who works overtime to just get all the gigs he can and doesn't put other people on. One of his homeboys got up there and he talked about how he known Kevin 25 years and still this is his big opportunity. He said, you should have put me in a movie damn 25 years ago. But they showed the black men in the audience though, because Shane was still going in on Kevin. Kevin, the black men in the audience, they weren't looking amused at all. They were looking very unamused, actually. There was a lynching joke, okay, Shane threw in there talking about they deliberated 3 weeks over this joke. But basically he said that Kevin was so short that when he would have to be lynched from a bonsai tree. Okay, now that is going overboard. Talk about he's going to have to be lynched. Like, it's going to happen. And it's going to have to be a bonsai tree. Y'all know how little those trees are. Now, Jeff Ross got up there. Jeff Ross is an old school comedian. He's been around. You guys are probably familiar with this. He's battled cancer, which is why he looks like this. That was a big part of his stuff, cancer. They went in on him. But yeah, he called, Jeff Ross got up there and called Kevin Hart the crack baby that could, child. Apparently his father was a crackhead. Oh, that's the pictures I didn't have. His father. Ooh, child, because what's his name? The Rock, he really went out on Pops. I was like, that's cold. Like, why you got to do that to Pops? What do you do to deserve to be put on the main stage and get made fun of? But he made his point. But yeah, he called him crack baby that could. Told him he was dressed like his idol, Eddie Murphy, because he definitely don't fuck with you, he told him. He's like, he ain't fucking with you. So I came in his place wearing his famous Delirious outfit. He said, we don't have Eddie, but what we did get is the donkey from Shrek. And then he said, everybody, Cheryl Underwood. I was like, why would he do that? That was so bad. So horrible. But she rolled with the punches and best believe she got up there and gave it to him too. Then he gonna say Cheryl's pronouns are he, ha. I was like, wow. But his boy Naeem got up there. Naeem Lynn is this guy's name. And apparently nobody knew who this guy was. But apparently he's been a longtime friend and probably writer for Kevin. He said he's been known Kevin for 25 years. He said, let me see my notes. He went in on Chelsea Handler, Dave Chappelle. To our, I can't even read my own writing. But he called Chelsea Kansas. He told Chelsea Handler she had on so much makeup. He's like, look at all that makeup she got packed on her face. Casket ready. Everybody was talking about how Chelsea Handler was old and how basically all she liked to do was F black guys. Apparently, that's Chelsea Handler's claim to fame in Hollywood, is that she gets D down by all the black men in Hollywood and all around the surrounding areas, apparently. But he definitely killed it, though. This guy was funny. He had me laughing the most. I was like, out of everybody, you should look him up. Naeem Lynn, N-A, like apostrophe I-M, and then Lynn. If you look up his Cat Williams, I'm sure they have it in segments. Hilarious. Speaking of in segments, let me skip over to TikTok real quick, because I was talking about Chelsea, but they have her.
I assume that all of you will be signing up to go fight in Iran. Or do you tough talking pussies only go to the Middle East for comedy festivals?
Ah! Look at him, he's so pissed. He's so mad. Oh my God.
Tony Hinchcliffe is here.
Tony's
Tony is
pissed.
what happens when women don't have safe access to abortion care. Tony and Shane both live in Texas, where abortion is illegal. But on the upside, if you see one of them doing comedy, there's a pretty good chance your uterus will start dry heaving on its own.
Oh my God.
Real guy's guy, or what's more commonly known as a bottom. Tony, you have the face of a school shooter and the personality of someone who gets shot first.
Oh my God. Oh my God. She's going for the jugular, dude.
You look good. You got like a little Hollywood glow up. I didn't know veneers came in deli mustard yellow.
Oh my God.
That lady is annoying, but she went in, okay?
Tony Hinchcliffe is here.
That's the better one.
Tony is what happens when women don't have safe access to abortion care. Tony and Shane both live in Texas, where abortion is illegal. But on the upside, if you see one of them doing comedy, there's a pretty good chance your uterus will start dry heaving on its own.
Okay,
No veneers came in deli. A bit better
right.
in person. You must be using Crest white supremacist strips. Tony and Shane, this must be so exciting for you guys. Usually on Sunday nights, you just burn a cross on someone's lawn. And tonight you get to roast a whole black guy. Well, a half of one, because it's Kevin. Tony, quick question. If you're here tonight, who's keeping Joe Rogan's balls warm in their mouth? Tony.
That wasn't a comedy special. That was a humiliation ritual. And everything that Cat Williams said on that stage was the absolute truth, especially when he pointed out to Kevin Hart, when I first met you, you were a 6'3" white man. Now, a lot of y'all may not believe in soul swapping and all that good stuff, but it's real, okay? I'm going to just leave it as that. In addition to that, when Cat Williams stood on that stage and said that he was the only one with a soul, he wasn't lying. Now, let's tap into the symbolism a little bit. If you look on the screen on the stage, there were two goats, two Baphomets, okay? The red, the color red, the energy, the whole nine. Now, let me just say this. A lot of people was mad about the George Floyd joke, but people don't realize that that was symbolism. It was a message in that joke, okay? Now, I cannot say too much on this video, but what I will say, if you go back to that time that the situation happened with George Floyd and what was going on then, what's going on now with the situation in the water with that thing with the people on it, y'all get where I'm coming from, because I can't say it because they will flag my video. So with that being said, just start reading between the lines, because a lot of people always want to see everything ain't that deep. Baby, it is that deep. Everything ain't spiritual. Baby, everything is spiritual, okay? As above, so below, okay? With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video, but it shit is always in our face and we fall for it every single time. That wasn't a comedy special. That was a humiliation ritual. And everything that Cat Williams said on that stage was the absolute truth, especially when he pointed out to Kevin Hart, when I first met you, you were a 6'3" white man. y'all may not believe in soul swapping and all that.
Okay. So there's a lot of little videos that are saying similar things about the soul swapping and there's consciousness swapping. I do believe these things, to be honest, but I'm not going to get into that right now. I don't know how that relates to this comedy ritual, but it is very ritualistic if you look at all the things she pointed out. People, you know, whatever it means, I don't know if we'll ever know for, you know, concretely, unless you are actually in that, right, in that realm, in that orbit, to know these things. But the fact that it's being talked about now, supposedly these people have to tell us what they're doing because it's a part of the arrangement of how they could get away with it. It's like you have to tell them what you're doing, otherwise you're going to get punished for it. So they put it in the movies, they put it in the books, the TV shows, they put it in our face, you know, so they can say, well, we told them what we were doing. We told them everything that was going on. That's why maybe they're talking about all this racist behavior and all this. They're showing us all the things that is really going on. Now, Lizzo got up there, okay, after Chelsea, well, let me finish with Chelsea, child, because Chelsea went in. She talked about how she met Kevin over 20 years ago in New York. She thought, what is 50 Cent's dick doing out here walking around, child? She also said Kevin was wait, hold on. Oh, she said Kevin was discovered during one of the Rock's colonoscopies. And that she's really up there on behalf of all the women. This is like the best part for her, as far as what she said. I'm really up here on behalf of women in America and abroad, okay? And then she goes in on the men on the panel. Welcome to tonight's episode of To Catch a Predator, she said. She said this is a real who's who of statutory R-worders. She said, talking about Tony Hinchcliffe, she said a real guys, or more commonly known as the bottom. She also said if he had a daughter, her first words would be, me too. And she meant to say son, she said, not a daughter. Okay, she was like not holding back. Corp girl, I don't like when they use the N-word and they are not black. Seems like an excuse to do. Yeah, definitely. Somebody got a pass. I think it was Draymond Green gave Pete Davidson a pass because this is all they kept saying about Pete Davidson. Oh, he's like a black guy. He's like an honorary black guy. He got big lips. He F Kim Kardashian. He is a deadbeat dad, or either he doesn't have a dad, something about his dad. Anyway, Lizzo. So Lizzo gets up there. She comes out playing the flute. Okay. And she had a bunch of little people around her that looked like Kevin. And she basically said, give it up to all my nigglets. Okay. When they went off stage. But she told Kevin, you not just a bitch, Kevin, you my bitch. Okay. This is how she gave him love. They have to get love after this. They told us we have to say something nice when we're done. Okay. Shane Gillis comes back up after Lizzo and he says, nice flute, you fucking bitch. And I'm just saying it because that's exactly how it seemed like he said it. He didn't smile. It was nasty. And she looked uncomfortable. Kevin even stood up, said, I got him, Liz, and act like, you know, he was going to fight. Shane then says, you know, we're just having fun. We're just having fun. But he said that with his whole chest, child. Shane then said to Pete Davidson that he's a reminder that being on SNL doesn't make you a better comedian. He said Pete showed up at the Kids' Choice Awards high on ketamine. And he said he actually thought that was pretty fucking awesome because at least you didn't show up to the event on Viagra, he said, like a lot of people in this room. And he looked around the room. I mean, of course, there was laugh track. I think it was laugh track or laughter recorded, put it in certain places because it was an edited version of the live stream. And the laughs, sometimes it would be quiet, but they were too, like, I don't think some of those things got laughs. Okay, but it went on. They said, he said, there's a lot of PDF files in here. He did not seem like he was joking. He said he told Pete he needs to start doing drugs so that he could be funny again. He said Pete is not funny. Now, Pete Davidson comes up, right? He pleads for somebody to unalive Tony. He was like serious too. He's like, somebody please K this guy. He then called Lizzo what did he call her? One of the clumps. He called her the something clump. I can't even read my writing. Something clump. They kept referencing Eddie Murphy. Like, that's how great Eddie Murphy is. Like, he has no parts of this. He might be watching it, and he might be watching it actually. I think that Eddie Murphy might have had a watch party at the place, at the house. But they kept bringing up Eddie Murphy. I don't know if that's required of them to pay homage to Eddie Murphy, but Pete Davidson calling her, talking about Clump, he also talked about Eddie Murphy and the characters. But he told Jeff Ross that he looked like the inside of a clam. And I thought that was hilarious. I actually laughed out loud, spit out my water. When it came to Regina Hall, Naeem, I think even Draymond, maybe he might have talked shit to Draymond, but he said, I'll pass, because he knows some black people you just can't mess with. You better not say one thing. Now, there was a second string of comedians on the panel that never got a mention, or the camera might have gone on for a second. Definitely Tiffany Haddish was one of them. The one that used to be married to Tisha Campbell, Dwayne Martin, he was one of them. Juti, is it a roast to Kevin Hart, or is it an all-you-can-eat? It was definitely an all-you-can-eat. That's actually that was a good way to put that. That was good, Juti. Wait, where are my sound effects, child? That's what you get for that. Now, it was like an all you can eat. But let's see what else happened. So Lizzo, Shane, like I said, Pete Davidson gets up. Oh, okay. Second string. All the greats, though, were in the audience. George, I cannot think of this comedian. It's an old black guy, George something. But I thought he had passed away. He was in the audience. For whatever reason, John Stamos was in the front row with another comedian, one with the red hair, Seth something. He writes like the cartoons and stuff. They were sitting, Seth Green something. He was sitting up front. They kept bringing John Stamos up. John Stamos was sitting up there like he was a mob boss. I was like, what is John Stamos? Even somebody said, what does John Stamos have to do with Kevin Hart? Somebody said they're good friends. I don't know. So Shane, he was roasting Draymond Green before introducing him, of course. Draymond gets up there. He's like, fuck all y'all for booing me. Sounding like a dummy. Sounded like a big dummy. He called Kevin a sellout. He said, you got all these white people up here talking about us and our ancestors and our culture. He's like, fuck you, Kevin. He's like, you fucking sellout. He said he was putting all the cases. He said, I'm gonna put cases on all of y'all. And he said that Shane sitting up there with a pastry face. But anyway, some comedian named Big J came up there. Big J Okerson. I think he was Hawaiian. He got up there talking about, they called him, Shane said he looked like the Banjo Bear from the Splash Mountain Ride. He kind of did, actually. He kind of did. Big J was funny. I didn't have no notes. I think because he had me laughing so hard. Oh, no, I do have some notes. Okay, so Big J Okerson, he said to Jeff Ross, if God didn't make you a PDF, he thought you would have been. He said, because your face is looking like a fingerprint cookie. I don't know what a fingerprint cookie is, but it made me laugh. What else did he say? I guess he didn't say much else. I think I laughed throughout his whole thing, actually. If I don't have a lot of notes, actually, and Tiana Taylor went up there. She was like the 10th person. And she wrote a letter to him. It was actually funny, but I was doing something else at the same time, so I wasn't really tuned in. I'm gonna have to look hers up separate. It seemed like it was funny, but it was funny because when Regina Hall, when she came up later, she dissed her. But I think they have some type of beef going on, if I'm not mistaken. If y'all know something about that, let me know. I'm gonna actually look that up on TikTok. before I'm gonna try to remember. So, Tony Hinchcliffe gets up here, right? Now he's supposedly the racist one. This is him pointing to himself. He gets up there. He seemed like he crossed every line and broke every rule. He said Kevin was born 9 pounds, 7 ounces, but he's still the same size today. Now, I'm telling you these light jokes that he said, not the nasty ones, but he said that Kevin's inner child is still taller than him. Okay. He said that he told Kevin, you made the Black community so proud. George Floyd is looking up at you, laughing so hard that he can't breathe. Now, that joke got a lot of flack. People really were up in arms about that. George Wallace, thank you, Wow Wang. You are good. Thank you, Wow Wang. But yeah, that was cold. He gonna bring up George Floyd, really? Now, that would makes me think about, well, who wrote this shit? And we're gonna get into that. But I gotta watch my time too, because I'm supposed to be somewhere. Cheryl Underwood got up though after Tony Hinchcliffe. Okay, Cheryl Underwood, child, you see her on the right of Tony on the picture. But I have a picture of her because I don't know why she came in that Afro wig, knowing they was gonna clown her. Okay, you know they was gonna clown, but I guess that was the point. So Cheryl Underwood, she was like, Shane, I know your kind. You want to hit this black pussy harder than the windows of the Capitol building on January 6th. And people stood up for that one. They gave her a standing O for that one. She also told Shane, I know you want to F me because you tired of effing your sister. You want to F a real sister, she said. Yeah. And then she kept saying, the right people wrote that. She said, Ted said, I got to say it. She said, and it was a regular phrase throughout the night from everybody that they had, but they paid me to do this. Okay. Now, she went on and said, Kevin is packing 10 inches, child. 10 inches in his pants. She said, it's his legs, but 10 inches is 10 inches. Okay. She said, but we only roast who we love and we love you, right? That was the whole thing every time after the fact. They want to punch you in the face and then give you a hug. So next come up was Regina Hall. Regina, in my opinion, was some type of silent assassin, okay? Because nobody didn't want to talk about her. They say she was added last minute. Nobody claimed to have any dirt on her. Everybody wanted to pass. So, but she got up there. It was cute. She pretended, she said that she connected to the mothers because she does like medium work, or she basically was acting like the mothers who have passed away are giving them intel on their children. And it's interesting because when I was beefing with somebody on YouTube, I actually did connect with that person's mother and I did relay messages from the mother. So when she did that, I knew actually that is a real thing. Seriously. But she said that she's known Kevin for 20 years, and despite that, I haven't seen most of his movies and everything else. She's still here today to honor him tonight. Okay. Now she did say here, in my notes, it says communicated with his dead mother and got some intel, and it's in a letter form. Now she talked about him failing that vegan fast food chain that he has. And I know I've seen it plenty of times that they have one in Hollywood. I don't know if it's still up. It never had a car in sight, no car in the drive-through, no car in the parking lot. And I always wondered, how does this business make any money? It might have been a front. I don't know, but they talked about how it was such a failure. And, many other people mentioned that during this roast. Regina Hall also talked about saying that, she said that the dead mother told her, I told you Tiana Taylor was going to bomb, right? So that made me put a note down there about them possibly having a beef, because I remember hearing something about that. So next up, child, was Cat Williams, okay? And Cat Williams was truthfully funny, as he always is. This isn't Cat. Where's Cat's picture? I had a picture of Cat. Oh, man. All right. I don't know what happened to my picture of Cat Williams. I'll just put Kevin up here. But he gets up there. He's like, hello, Kevin. He said, I'm surprised they invited me. That's how bad your shit is. Basically, they have to start inviting your enemies. He said, I hate him. And they said, come anyway. He said, I'm not sure if the Illuminati is real or if this is the junior varsity version. Okay. But he said, I tried to tell y'all Kevin was a plant. He said, because I keep burying him, he keeps just springing back up, just like a plant. And he also said that The Rock can't even save you. He said, Kevin and The Rock have what you call a bromance. That's when two men secretly fuck the shit out of each other. Oh, he said Kevin once said if he found out his son was gay, he hit him over the head with a dollhouse. Matter of fact, a lot of people brought that up because I guess that got him banned from the Academy Awards or something. But he said that was arguably the gayest way to abuse a child. He said they tried to cancel Kevin for the Diddy parties, and he thanks the baby oil for that, because that's why the allegations couldn't stick, is because of the baby oil. And he talked about how Kevin hosted one of Diddy's release parties and that he released everywhere, on the bed, in the pool, blah, blah, blah. He said Kevin stopped him from leaving because he was done and he was going to walk off, and he stopped him and he told him it was fam, that he was a fan first, right? He was kissing his ass, and he offered him an olive branch and told him that, we can move on from here and that he wanted peace. And honestly, he sounded really sincere. It sounded like he wanted to cry. He shook his hand. They hugged. It was a beautiful moment. Then Shane comes up there and says, who cares about these two little men fighting? Like, they're too small to even care about. Anyway, surprisingly, Venus and Serena came up. I wasn't expecting them. They were cute. They said, well, we did say no to this 3 times, but, it's Kevin. We he's our friend. But they roasted his ass, okay? They said, goat where? Goat where? We're the goat. We're goats. How are you a goat? He said, we love you. And as you know, in tennis, love means nothing. And then The Rock came up. I have him as number 16, right? He said, daddy's home, child. Okay, in grand WWE fashion. He came up. He said, we about to burn this motherfucker down. He told the Roots to shut up because they had got a song wrong or something. And he called Tony Clint Henchman a sassy bigot. He said, he told him, you look like a slave owner who makes his slaves perform musicals. Matter of fact, I think he told that to Shane, but he told that to either him or Tony. Everybody cracked on Draymond Green's name. The Rock said Draymond Green's mother was lazy. He said she just put the letter D in front of the name Raymond. He said that's retarded. He said you should just retire. I mean, retire. I thought that was funny. The Rock focused on Kevin's wife a lot, Aniko. He asked her out for a nightcap after the show. Told Kevin, we'll let you watch like we always do. Okay. She was laughing and loving it and eating it all up, child. She's a pretty woman. Been through a lot with this man, and everybody knows it. But he was like, I know why the ladies love Kevin. He said that he's the same size and color of their favorite dildo. He said then he started talking about their fathers. He said, both of our fathers have passed away, and that's what actually bonds us. Everybody's like, oh, and he put up a side by side of their fathers. And here that is his father on the left. He was talking about him like he was a superhero. He was a powerhouse. Look, he worked out. Look at him. And then he said, then there's Kevin's dad. Then on the right, there's Kevin's dad looking old and mealy. Kevin got all up and got mad. Don't be talking about my dad, bitch. He was like, you son of a bitch. He's like, there's a better picture of my dad. And The Rock said, you know what? There is a better picture of your dad. Let's put that up. And then here's that picture. His mugshot. I thought that was cold. Kevin proceeded to publicly fire anybody involved in providing the pictures. Then he went on to say, Kevin's dad is a crackhead. Little crack baby Kevin. That's what he started calling him. He said he thought crack was spelled with a K. That's why they named him Kevin. I'm telling you, I did not expect to laugh. I swear I did so much laugh therapy throughout this 2 hours and something that I actually sat and watched this. It was like I didn't have nothing else in the world to do. But he went on and he, said, I love you, brother. And they did their bro thing. But it was so funny. But he introduced Kevin. Kevin had the last 20 minutes. He got up there, shooting his AK. Okay. The Rock introduced him as Kevin Hart, the GOAT. And Kevin had, get rid of this podium. Okay. We got to get rid of this podium. We don't need that. I'm finna go in on all you motherfuckers. He went on to, he was like, you want a real nigga tonight? I'm gonna give you a real nigga tonight. He warned his sponsors. There was like 1 million of those. And he started with Dwayne. He said people were saying he was on Ozempic. He said he wasn't on Ozempic. He got AIDS. Okay. He proceeded to cock a gun, and kept cocking his gun, working his way throughout the panel with his glittering diamond necklace around his neck, almost like a choker, right? Him and Dwayne had on the same outfit. Now that I look at it, him and The Rock, they had on the same chain, the same outfit. He said, I'm not talking about my sisters tonight on this stage. You don't know what they've been through. None of them have a man, okay? None of them. I'm not going to sit up here and talk about these lonely bitches. It started out like he was being nice, and then he just knocked all of them down like bowling pins. But he said his truce with Cat Williams was the best acting he had ever done in his life. Called him a fucking liar and said that, he denied the Diddy parties and said that, I went to one and Cat was there too. That's how he knew I was there, because he was there too. Right. So is that all I got? But yeah, I think that's it. He was just, Kevin got his last little shots off. Oh, I have a little more. He started dropping others' names who was at the Diddy parties, Shaq, Usher, this one, that one, and said, I saw y'all wasn't doing nothing, but I saw you. He said to Cat Williams, we don't need a pimp in Jumanji. He said Cat Williams was basically jealous of his career. He said, you could never be in no movies like Jumanji. We don't need no pimp in there. We don't need you. He said, it's the big leagues. Okay. It's over, Cat. He said, but this beef is over. He said, I love Cat. He showed up and he showed out. We're friends from today moving forward. And basically that's him telling Cat, leave me alone. Please don't talk about me no more, because Cat has been obliterating Kevin in every stand-up. Even Cat Williams said in this production that he had become an expert at roasting Kevin. He said, it's basically part of my professional repertoire. Okay. He went on and he talked about Lizzo. He told Lizzo he was doing a blood sugar check with her. Lizzo, you good? How's your blood sugar? Okay. He asked her if her feet were swollen. Then he broke down why Pete Davidson wants to be black, but don't want to say it. He's too scared to say it. He's all the black stereotypes. He F'd Kim K. He didn't have a dad. And other people had already said these things. He went on to shout out his sponsors. Like I said, there was like 1 million of them. He went on and on and on. And then when people were kind of like making faces and noises about it, he said, y'all just jealous because you can't do the same thing. And actually he's right, because that means he got a lot of money coming in, right? He was popping his shit, and rightfully so, when you are looking at it in that way. He shouted out love to his wife and to Philly, told Philly to stand up. Meek Mill came up and performed after the fact at the end. He was up there singing with him. The crowd seemed to know the song. I sure didn't. But seemed like everybody was having a good night. Seemed like everybody, enjoyed the show. But like I said before, there was something else bigger beyond this. Even beyond, I think, what the people on TikTok were saying about the symbolisms. I think there has to be something else behind why they would do this on a regular basis. This has been going on for, I think, decades, really, these roasts. And the humiliation of it all has to have some type of meaning for these people, or, they must need to do it in order to keep maybe their position or maybe able to stay in the game. But I know when he ended, he said, I'm Kevin Hart and you will remember me. Those were like his last words. Like, this is going to put me on the map. I think somebody even said before they signed off on their roast of him that at the end of the day, one thing will never be mistaken is that he's going to be remembered, that people are going to know his name forever, like as a comedian. So regardless, I guess they're saying good or bad, he's made his mark. And whatever he's done to get here, was it worth it? I guess we don't know. We will never know, because we don't really know what's going on in his very personal life. We don't know what's really going on in he and his wife's marriage. His children, we've watched his children grow up. And that's crazy to me too, because I didn't realize he had been in the game so long. But I remember when his children, he had gotten his divorce. Remember, it was very public. Tori was also a comedian. That was like a whole big deal. The kids and the custody stuff, and like the kids. Then he got married to Aniko kind of like right after. And the wife said he cheated on her with Aniko. It was a mess. Kevin came in messy. So, Kevin's used to the mess. Corp Girl, there are no boundaries with these roasts. I'm shocked they let Cat Williams there. He hope he's keeping it real. Sounds like it didn't, but I didn't watch the special, so to speak. Cat said some things. He did. You don't like that a-hole? Which a-hole are we speaking of? I'm not sure if you're talking about Cat Williams or who else was I talking about? Meek Mill. But that was kind of the gist of the roast, child. I mean, it was honestly, I will have to say, I do recommend it. Watch if you have a couple hours to even if you're going to be multitasking, cleaning, doing some gardening, even though that kind of is a juxtaposition of negativity, gardening, Mother Earth, great energy. And then you have this roast, which is nasty, vile, disgusting, horrible things. And like Draymond Green said when he got up there, like, Kevin, you allowed these people, these white people, to come up here and talk about our culture, talk about our family, all these things. And it's true, because they're not just talking about Kevin, they're talking about all of us. They're not just talking about Kevin as a black man. And how that George Floyd joke, that was a horrible joke, but he's affecting everybody with that joke, not just Kevin. So, let me see what else I have on this before we shut this down. I didn't go over to Instagram. But what do you guys have planned for the weekend? I'm so glad it's Friday, and it's Friday, 4:00 Pacific time. So the day is pretty much over. And, I'm ready for the weekend. Let's see. Saved. My saved posts. Child, they're trying to elect Spencer Pratt, who used to be on the Hills, as our next mayor of LA. And that is not going to happen. I mean, I can see why people like him. They feel like he's just a regular Joe. He's going to save us from corrupt politics, but that's not how that's going to work. Okay, somebody supposedly donated $500 million to him. You think they're going to just do that and not expect anything in return? Okay, I thought I had something more on this roast here in Instagram, but it looks like there's a lot of things I haven't covered that are saved here. They do have other news about Kevin Hart, his entertainment company, Heartbeat, reportedly in full-blown crisis involving layoffs, lawsuits, and stalled projects. According to Bloomberg, they're saying his media company is allegedly facing escalating internal turmoil, including layoffs, stalled projects, exclusive executive turnover, and mounting legal and financial pressure. The report describes a breakdown inside a company with alleged repeated staff cuts among multiple departments and growing concern among remaining employees about the company's future. Some staffers also reportedly believe Kevin has taken a less visible role in day-to-day operations following a quiet deal with Authentic Brands Group. So that's probably the case. I doubt Kevin even has any hand in any of this business stuff. They say multiple projects have reportedly been delayed or put indefinite hold as leadership works to reconstruct or restructure and stabilize the business. The situation is further complicated by reported internal legal disputes involving former executives along with strained relationships tied to previous rounds of layoffs and restructuring. Allegedly, tensions have also been fueled by claims that senior executive Jeff Clanagan has encouraged employees to assist with outside ventures connected to his own business interests. Kevin, who is known for keeping his private life and business dealings relatively low profile, has not publicly addressed the report. Kevin's low profile? Holly Pete, amazing how these reports come out right on the heels of his big night. Every company is struggling right now. She's right. That's what I was curious about. Why is this coming out right when this special is coming out? No wonder he let them put Cat on, he said, because of this. He said he needs this thing to be a big hit. Okay. I did also want to do a little bit about this article. Michael Shea, who's a comedian, they said he pulled out of Kevin Hart's roast before shading white writers for jokes about slavery, sex crimes, and slurs. This is what I had wanted to talk about. Let's see if I have access to this. Dang, I don't think I have. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do. Okay, so they say Michael Shea is roasting the roast of Kevin Hart. The comedian and Saturday Night Live star was originally slated to perform at the live Netflix event on Sunday. Two sources involved in the production tell Variety, but he ended up pulling out due to scheduling difficulties with SNL. Says Shea was not alone. Sources say the roast lineup had undergone quite a bit of shuffling with several last-minute additions and dropouts. Now Shea is taking to social media to air some grievances about the event, writing on Instagram, white guys and black people joke different. Black guy roasts like, look at this nigga shoes. White roasts are like slavery, math, slaying teens, sex crimes, slurs, family secrets. White guys don't give a fuck about their shoes, he said. Shea's post appears to reference some of the edgier jokes made by roast host Shane Gillis, Tony Hinchcliffe, and others. Gillis made jokes mocking Hart's height that referenced slavery and lynching. The last, he admitted, required 3 weeks deliberation, and Hinchcliffe indulged in his fair share of racial humor as well, with one particularly shocking joke about George Floyd. Other comments, Jeff Ross and Cat Williams joked about Hart once attending a party. We talked about all this. I basically covered all this. I know one thing that Chelsea Handler said that I didn't bring up, but basically it was a joke, something like, you should be used to this type of torture or trauma because ever since you were in the womb, feeling those wire hangers poking at you. I thought that was cold. But it said while Shea didn't name any of the comedians on the days, he did troll some behind the scenes writers of the roast. Here we go. Let's do a roast, he said, celebrating the career of the most successful black comic in the last 10 years, Shea wrote. I love that. Who should we get to write it? On the next slide, he included a photo of 5 jokes writers hired by Gillis, J.P. McDade and Mike Lawrence, Dan St. Germain, and Zach Amico, of all whom are white. He said, come on, that's not funny. Representative for Netflix had no comment. Shea's managers did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. Those called out by Shea are not the only scribes who worked on the roast. It's worth noting that the telecast has 17 credited writers, several whom are black. Many of the comedians hired their own teams, including Hinchcliffe and Chelsea Handler, who posted a photo with some of their writers and tagged them in the caption. There were other writers hired to churn out punchlines for various talent too, like comedian Madison Sinclair, who slipped some of her favorite unused roast jokes to Variety. McDade, for one, cheekily acknowledged Shea's diss by resharing his post, but only the photo, not Shea's words. Don't swipe, he said. Let me find this picture. That was the one I think I wanted to find. What was his name? Shea. I forgot his name already. Shea something. Hold on. Let me go find that. Shea. Oh, Michael Shea. Michael Shea. Come to the front of the class. Shea. Shea thinks. Oh, he said, I'm sorry I said those white writers were white. They're not. Please respect my family's privacy at this time. He must be getting harassed. He said it takes a real man to admit when he's not wrong. Somebody said. Where is the picture of the? Maybe he deleted it. I mean, probably was in his story. So anyway, he was basically calling everybody out. But like they said, because I did look up the full list of writers, and they weren't all just white writers. But maybe they were senior writers. But there was a group of white writers that was going that these are the writers. But good for him for pulling out and calling these people out. Ju T, going to see the Michael Jackson movie tomorrow. Oh yeah, we talked about that last Friday. If you missed that, please go check that out. That was really amazing. You said you're off for 3 days and extra happy about it. Enjoy your days off, girl. I don't know what the name, but the white guy who told the floor. Okay, we talked about that. That was I think that was Hinchcliffe. Or it was either Shane Gillis or Tony Hinchcliffe, because they were the main two antagonizers. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, I'm out. Listen, happy Friday. As always, enjoy everything. Remember your breaths. Deep breaths, deep breaths, okay? Yes. Calling on the angels. Peace and love, love and peace. Till next time. Bye.